If you watched my video on making fabric master boards for our slow stitching projects, you remember that I created a master board on a piece of batting, and it was in the pink tones basically. And then I told you, that you could cut it up and use it for whatever you wanted. Well, in this case, I cut mine into hearts, and you can see the variation that I got out of that piece about this big, not a little smaller than this piece, but aren't these beautiful? And you can just envision using them in so many things. You can use them in your sewing projects. You can use them in your slow stitch projects, in your junk journaling projects, just about anything you want to craft to do that you would like a heart. They're substantial. Now right now these have raw edges because they just simply have been cut with the batting on the back. They were machine sewed. I machine sewed, quilted that down, and but depending on what I'm going to do with it will depend on how I finish it out or whether I add any more embellishment to it. And so that, but this is the base, and these are wonderful to make in advance with your scraps, and then have them around, and when you need a shape or something, you just cut it out and use it. Now I have these beautiful pink ones, and then today I'm going to make another one with you, show you again how I work these. And this one's going to be in shades of blue. So let's take some scraps here that I have, and let's just lay them out. Let's see. I want to double that. That kind of gives me a shadow in the back, and I kind of like that. I'm going to do, how do I want to do this? I'm going to do this one up here. I don't know, a little bit of that might be all right. I don't want a big bunch of it. But a little bit might be okay, like that. And then I have this piece here, which I might take, let's see, might take some out of the middle. It's like that. Okay, I'm going to come down with this. All right, let's see, we have a little bit of going to lay that across there like that, I think. Where's this go to? All right, how are we going to do this one? I think I'm going to lay that up there like that. Let me get some pieces off of here. See, I need something under that. Let's just fill in the gap here with just a little piece of scrap, because I just need to cover the batting. There you go. And then this will go over that. All Alright, so we have a lot of the batting covered now, and so now I start chopping up and throwing things around. Sounds like a very controlled art project, doesn't it? Okay, let's throw some little pieces of trim and lace and fabrics here and there. Let's see. Now, one thing you cannot put, you can put sequins and things like that, but you can't put a bunch of beads, because when you start to quilt this on your machine, it's just too heavy. You know, your machine won't go over all that, so you don't want to tear it up. So be careful what you put on before you quilt it. Okay. All right, these I don't need. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I have some little trim here, kind of cute. Okay, now I have some yarn. I'm going to, this here, I'm going to chop it up. Let me turn it. And what I usually do is fold it so that I can chop several lengths at a time. And hold it up a little bit so it just kind of scatters and falls around. Then it saves you from trying to have to fussy it around, you know, pick it up, try to place it. I like these yarns because they have a little glitzy one, you know, a little silver thread or something that shines, metallic. And if you know me, you know I like that. And so then I have this little piece of scrap, so I'm going to use that. It has a little bit darker tones, which will be nice. Don't overthink it. Don't try to get it perfect. Don't place it. Just chop it and let it go. Every once in a while you might scatter it out, just to make sure you get even coverage, but you're not trying to set up a pattern. You're not trying to control it. You're trying to go with the flow, okay? All right. Now my last part, I have a little bit of, let me get this string off here, of nylon embroidery thread, which is shiny, and this is in blues and lavenders, which I think would be pretty on here too. And I try to cut that on the smaller side. Let it just again fall where it wants to. Okay, that is pretty. I like that just the way it is. Okay, so now remember the next thing that I do is I put my tool on here, and it's not wide enough, so I have to put it on in 2 pieces. So I lay my first one down and cut that, and then put my second layer on. Then I will cut that. Making sure that all my collaged fabric there is covered. Now, let's take and find our overlap first. Let's see, which way did we overlap? We overlapped this way. There it is. Because I like to pin down that edge so that I can see it, so that when I take it to the machine, I will be able to sew down that overlap so that it doesn't catch and causes problem later. So make sure you identify your overlap, and when you're sewing it on your machine, make sure you sew over that edge. All right, now I can go out, find my edges, and pin them in good. If you're wondering, yes, I am working on top of my laptop here. Still in the neck brace, so I still have to have an elevated surface to work on. Can't bend my head that far down, which is a real bummer, but hey, I'm working. That's what's important. And I'm learning to adapt. I didn't think at 79 I really had that much more to learn, but you know what? Life has a way of teaching you now and then what you should have known. Okay, let's see. Let's get these. All right, we got that edge. Let's turn it around and work this edge. You want to get it kind of close to the edge because these elements will fall out as you're moving it around on the machine if you're not kind of closing down those edges. Okay. Now when I take it to the sewing machine, I usually come down the center, then around the edges like that, and then I come back and do the insides, and that usually will handle all that. And then I also remember that I come down this edge that I marked here, what that is all about. I will go ahead and take some of the excess off. That helps me too when I'm over at the machine, not to have a whole bunch of stuff in my way. Isn't that going to be gorgeous? I'm going to cut hearts out of that too. These hearts, by the way, are going on my Etsy shop, and I always save me 1 or 2, but then I am putting them in my Etsy shop too. So if you need a heart, you know where to get one. Okay, let's see. I'm getting, all right. Even though I'm doing better and I'm able to sit at my desk and work, I'm not able to get around and do much else. So cleaning is a real problem. And you know, nobody can really clean your craft room but you. And my daughter has offered, and it's just gonna have to stay a mess till I can get better. And that's probably another 7 weeks till I can get out of this brace. So anyway, just bear with me. My desk is a mess. I'm working on top of my laptop, and but hey, it's working. It's working. So there we have another fabric masterboard that we can quilt and then use any way we want to. All right, you can quilt it, and then you know what, you could make a little pouch out of it. Wouldn't that be gorgeous? There's just no end to what you can do with these things. Drop in the comments what you might do if you had this very one right here all quilted and ready to go. What would you do with it? All right, and don't be bashful. Tell me what you would do with it if you had it. But you can see how pretty they are. When you make them all multicolored, those are pretty too. But I have found that if you will color tone them, to me, they are strikingly more gorgeous. Just gorgeous. That's all I can say. And just like the pink ones, just gorgeous as they come out, and if your elements are in there. All right. Now, all right. Let's stop with this, and let's see what we can get into next.